feel like we're about to deliver the news with these mic pros.
Hey, man. It all comes back to the mics, James.
Mm-hmm.
We all come back to the mic.
We're still getting the setup going. One day we'll get
all comes back to the mics.
a more expensive camera, but it'll have to do for now.
I feel like I need to hold my mic now.
I was thinking it. I mean, you can always just hold the base.
I feel like it's picking me up.
Yeah.
You feel like it's picking me up?
I know if anything, it's going to pick you up, and not me. Just based on the past.
I know exactly why you said it. I didn't think about that, but I don't know why that was, though, man. Because it did the same thing with Josh, too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, James.
So
maybe the mics just don't like you. That's why you are a producer.
Mm-hmm. Behind the scenes, yeah.
Behind the scenes, click, 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 click.
My mind went so many different places. I have a cousin named Mike, and even though we didn't have an antagonistic relationship, you know, when you're little, you do butt heads. So I was going to say, I don't have a good history with mics.
Mm-hmm. But that was one mic, James.
All I need is one.
That was good.
I thought that's where you're going.
It's not where I was going, but I abandoned mine because that was good. Mm-hmm. Anyways, you ready?
Yeah, I figured we was gonna keep all that in. Everything after you set up your mic.
Oh yeah. I'm about to say not the whole spot, but the chair.
No.
You have to keep all that in. Anyways, welcome to another episode of the Big.
And short of it all, hello everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to say I've got some shirts and a mug definitely in my cart, just waiting to buy of your collection.
I did not know what you were talking about at first.
I know. It just came out of nowhere.
Like, oh, you got your shirts and the mug in the cart? Did you steal them?
It's the holidays, man. I'm ready.
Hey, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We got to collab on some big and short shirts too.
Mm-hmm. I'm with it, and I got to remember to put the intro for
Yeah. I've been working on a little something with the intro.
Okay.
It's not ready yet though.
Okay.
But I'll show you the concept.
Okay.
And maybe you can see where I'm trying to go with it. And then, you know. But they're not here for that, James.
Yeah.
They're not here for that.
I was going to say one last thing. You kind of inspired me to get more into music, get back into music. So I think
You and Dexter working on the album?
I'm going to dip my toe back in the beat making.
You and Dexter gonna work on the album?
We can. Me and Dexter can talk about things. I don't think that's where we're going.
Yeah, I think Dexter wants to do an album. I think Dexter's all musiced out right now. Yeah. At least for now. He may pick it up later, but I think for now. But yeah, man, I've been telling you to get back in the game, James. You get so distracted, you be like, yeah, I like this beat. Nah, I don't like that beat.
Yeah.
2 years later, I like that beat.
Yeah.
I don't like this beat. 2 more years later, I like this beat.
I'm not gonna say I'm a perfectionist, but you know, sometimes you make a beat that you hold in such high regard, and then this one just stay. And then some of them are like you like this beat so much that you don't want to just give it away, give it for like 10. You know, obviously you wouldn't do it for $10, but
for cheap, basically.
Yeah.
No, I get that. You feel like it's a good quality product, and you want to make sure you get, you know, rightfully compensated for it. So I get that. I guess my question to you is, and I feel like we talked about this before, but like, do you think part of the reason why you got out of beat or making beats has to do with how you feel? Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like the state of like hip hop.
No, I think that's why I stopped trying to make music, period. But as far as making beats, I think it was because I was so beholden to the beats that I made on PlayStation 2, and I was trying to migrate them to, you know, computer and record on them, and it was a very difficult process. I was able to get it onto the computer, but there was some audio issues, and it was just never perfect. And I didn't want to start all the way over on Fruity Loops.
Trust me, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never dealt with Fruity Loops, but I just starting over, and I get it.
Yeah.
I guess the reason why I ask is like, because, you know, we've had multiple conversations on here, outside of here, about how you feel about, you know, certain beats nowadays. And so I didn't know if you'd be like, everybody's beats is just kind of like bass, 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 little treble, little treble.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's not. It doesn't expire. I guess you get. I don't know.
There are eras, because there was a point in time where you had like I don't know what to call them, but like you'd have like snares. It was mostly in trap beats, but like something like that, and then you had the producer tags and.
No, you're cool. I thought I was gonna start playing.
So I'd be off and on with beats, but for the most part, my biggest thing is like most beats nowadays aren't as iconic. Not saying that they sound the same, but and we probably had this conversation. If you listen to a Timbaland beat or a Pharrell beat, you knew it.
They have a certain signature to them.
Exactly.
Nah, I get that. The crazy thing about it is like I get it, but at the same time I don't get it. And what I mean by that is like I get it, but like I'm pretty sure if you were to play me a Timbaland beat from a song I hadn't heard, I probably wouldn't know it's a Timbaland beat.
Yeah, especially after he started branching out from just hip hop, and he started going pop. So it's like I don't know. I'm
talking about even a hip hop. Like if it's not a song that I've heard on the radio or that I have saved in my library, and you're like, oh yeah, Timbaland made this, like this hip hop artist, that's a Timbaland beat. I'm like, okay. I
hear
would not know.
I hear you.
But it's like when I hear songs that I know, and I also know that Timbaland is the person who made the beat, it's like I can hear it like, oh, that sounds like a Timbaland beat. So I don't know why that is. One
famous one, Jay-Z, Dirt Off Your Shoulders. Like, if I never saw the video saying that was Timbaland's beat, I would have never guessed. And there was a part where it goes, like that. To me, like it has some Timbaland in it, but if you just listen to the beat as a whole, that could be anybody.
Yeah. I gotta go back and listen to that song now. Because I don't think I knew that. Because I'm trying to cycle through. Obviously, my memory is not the greatest when I need it, but when I hear that beat, I'm talking about like I'm trying to think of like beats that I knew were Timbaland's.
Gotcha.
Just off the top of my head, I can't think of any.
Dirty South. Can y'all really feel me? East Coast feel me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew.
Yeah, I did know that one.
Okay,
yeah. I feel like they said it in the song too.
I know he was in that one. Like he had a verse on that one. So I should probably pick one that he didn't necessarily have a verse or didn't say anything. But Aaliyah, 1 in a Million with the Crickets. Jay-Z, Big Pimpin'.
I would say this about Timbaland. Like I don't be on like TikTok a lot. I'm on there obviously more because of the podcast, and so that was kind of like my gateway into watching TikToks. But like since I've been on TikTok, like he's one of those people, like because I don't go to, but like every now and then he'll pop up in my feed, and it's like him like listening to new artists that submit songs, or him like making beats and stuff like that. I'm like, Timbaland's still out here doing it, man. He's still doing it.
It's if it's been so a part of your life, I don't think you'll ever. You may not be as open or public with it, but I don't think you'll ever get away from making beats.
I wonder how many artists have like a large number of unreleased tracks. So, like I remember hearing something about like when Prince died, they were talking about like he had like hundreds of songs just in his vault that were never released. I wonder like how many songs are just on people's just computers that you'll never hear. And it's like, man, this song. But you hear like, why did you not put this out?
Yeah. It's so I remember Busta Rhymes with I was gonna say Big Bang Theory. What is it? No, just the Big Bang. The song I Love My Chick. He said that he always regretted putting that on there because it didn't match the rest of the album. So sometimes I guess it's just like any song that they make don't necessarily fit in with.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I heard a story about I don't know if you know the song Schoolboy Q. So he has a song called Studio. I don't know if you ever heard it. So I didn't know how much Schoolboy Q you listen to. I don't know. I feel like he's not up your alley.
I mean, I think that's the song that put him on.
That's true.
Yeah.
I heard the story. I don't know how true this is, but apparently, according to the story, one of the guys who worked at the company or the label he was at, they had this thing where they would pull everybody into like the office. They'd play like a song, and they're kind of like, oh, you know, this is if it's decide if it's a single or not. Mm-hmm. And so they listened to it, and everybody loved it. Apparently, he did not. Like it wasn't. I mean, he didn't hate the song, but like it wasn't his favorites. Yeah. But it became like so big, it was just kind of like. Nah,
yeah, you just gotta roll with it.
I did not like this song.
You know, another thing that, you know, if I became big, and maybe that'll make people not want to work with me, but if I make a beat that I really, really like, and then somebody be like, all right, I want it. I'll give you this much money for it. That's cool, but I need to hear the song first. Like, I'm not just gonna give this song, this great beat to just anybody with any kind of song. It's gotta be nice. I don't want this to be track number 13 on.
It's just a random song that goes nowhere.
Exactly.
What's your limit? Your money limit? What's the payoff? What's the?
So like I mean, you know, I hear people say like 50,000 for a verse. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much people make from beats. I've heard like 1,000 from. I don't know. So little old me. Mm-hmm. For a beat that I really, really like, I'd probably let it go for 200.
Okay.
But then again, you know, just because I really, really like it don't mean that everybody... So it definitely have to be, what do they call it, like a focus group kind of thing. Like, let you hear, and somebody else hear it, like, yeah, this is it. All right, that's going to keep increasing the price.
Question. Mm-hmm. So let's say, all right, so let's you make a beat, right? Mm-hmm. You really love it. Somebody comes, they say they want the beat. Mm-hmm. You sell it to them. Let's say $250. Okay. Reasonable price. They put that song on the album, like you were saying earlier, it comes track 13. Mm-hmm. But the whole album, people love. Obviously, let's say they have other songs that like over the song that your beat is. Mm-hmm. But people still talk about that whole album.
In general.
Right? So you make another beat that you really love. Somebody else comes around, oh, hey, man, Jazz, I heard you had the beat on that one album. Let me hear what you got. And you play them a beat. And they say, how much? Is it still $250?
At that moment, yes.
Why? You don't want to at least go up to 3 or 4?
Because, well, I almost want to say it depends on if they heard how much it costs. Mm-hmm. But you know, I don't know if they call it. Maybe it's a networking market, whatever you want to call it. But I guess you do have to know your worth at the same time. Mm-hmm. That's a good point. That's a good point. I guess I'm not established, so it's like I don't want to put myself out of the running. Because at some point, if somebody don't feel like it's worth that, and they can always negotiate. Right. Then you know you don't get your beats heard, nobody's gonna come back to you.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I'm not saying you're gonna jump from like, okay, my song was on this album that everybody loves. The beats are now worth $1,500. I ain't saying you jump to $1,500. Yeah. But like, is it still the $250?
I'd say let's get 2, maybe 3 under my belt, but I hear you. Like okay. I would say after 2, I'm probably thinking about going up.
All right, so let's say let's bump it up.
Okay, 400.
Person comes out with the album. Mm-hmm. 15 tracks on the album. Mm-hmm. 4 of those tracks are your beats, bangers. Mm-hmm. 2 of them singles, people love. The other 2, they're like arguably great songs, but they're not as good as the singles. Mm-hmm. What's your rate? 1,000?
That would be where I would test the market. Like where do I stand? Okay.
So 1,000 is when you test it with?
Yep.
Okay.
At this point, I still don't know how much other. I probably at that point, if people knew mm-hmm. me, then I'd probably network with other producers, mm-hmm. and I'd probably get an idea of how much I should be charging. Because I mean, there's market, so you don't want to undersell, which causes other people. Yeah, but I'd probably have a better idea maybe by that point.
I mean, I get you, but here's my pushback to that. First off, I agree, mm-hmm. but my pushback, just to play both sides, isn't there a certain time that you want to strike while the iron's hot?
That is a very good point.
Because I mean, I'm not. I mean, granted, this is all a scenario, mm-hmm. but I do have faith in you. So I'm not saying you would fall off, but
no, I hear you.
At the same time, if you're hot, you're hot.
You make a very good point because I mean, most producers mm-hmm. they have their time. So Polo the Don, he was hot for like 4 mm-hmm. years, and what's the name, DJ Mustard, like he was hot back then, and sure what's Kendrick Lamar had his resurgence for him, but I mean, Lil Jon is like, to me, I won't say the most recent because I'm not up on producers nowadays, but Lil Jon had a very long, let's say, prime.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the Timbalands, the Dr. Dre's and all that stuff, you almost don't hear about them anymore. Like, they're legendary.
Yeah.
So, no, you make a good point. Like, I probably should capitalize. Go hard to go home, right?
But the question is, how hard do you go, though?
Yeah.
Because to your earlier point, like, you don't want to, like, force somebody to be like, oh, that's just, like, come on, man. It's only been 2 albums. Come on. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like, I had 2 albums, so y'all checking for me. So it's like, $2,500.
I think at that point, I would have tiers. So beats that I like more. So if I think this beat is like really nice, that's my $1,000. If you ain't liking them, then we can go to $800, $500, and you can just pick from those.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Do you let them hear all your beats that you got, or you play like a certain selection that you have?
I know I have in the past like played all of them. Mm-hmm. I guess it would, you know, maybe you would just approach it like how much you trying to spend, and then we can start there. And then, you know, if you ain't liking them, we can go up, we can go down.
I get that. I guess my last question, because this is a very real scenario, because, you know, I know you make beats right now. But my last question would be, does your price, I feel like we've already answered the price question, but just to, again, oh, come on, man.
It's on vibrate at least.
I know. But just to look at all angles, does the beat price change depending upon the artist? So, like, I give you a scenario. I ain't saying Future is like a big artist, but let's say, you know, you making beats. Somebody like a Future comes in and like, hey, I hear you know, you did on such and such album. I'm gonna see if you got a little beat for me. Is it still that same price that you've been quoting to other people that ain't Future, or do you go up a little bit, like $3,500?
Because I'm ethical, I want to say it should be the same. Mm-hmm. And I see it both ways. Obviously, you know, hey, you know, you got it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, if he's more of a bigger name, then that's more exposure. Mm-hmm. That's tough.
Yeah.
I'd probably still try to go up. I'd probably still try to go up.
Cause I feel like the thing too is like, let's say it is a Future that comes to you for a beat, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say you move the price up to 40, let's say 4,500, and now kind of going back to the same original scenario, right? Mm-hmm. It's Future, you charge 4,500, and now your beat is on a track 13 song on a Future album, but it's still a Future album. Mm-hmm. It's
still getting that exposure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
Hey, man, it's all, you know, all made up scenarios that will probably happen in the future.
No pun intended. I would probably love to talk to you know, if I had to pick between Dr. Dre, Kanye, Timbaland, I feel like Timbaland would probably be the because he seems like I won't say he's the one that the pride didn't go to his head.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Dr. Dre, you know, is like, man, I ain't talking to you. Kanye is just crazy, you know. Pharrell, you know, and his pieces, I forgot what piece by piece or something like that.
Oh, his movie, the Lego pieces?
Yeah. You can tell that he's been affected. But I feel like Timbaland would still be, he could be a mentor.
I feel like with Pharrell, Pharrell would probably give you some good knowledge. I feel like the issue with Pharrell is like you have to cipher what he's talking about to get the knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, cause and maybe I'm just thinking about, cause I watched the interview he did with what's the white dude's name with the long beard? He used to be like a music person.
Rick Rubin?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They did like an interview together, and he asked Pharrell, like, it was like, hey man, how do you come up with the, you know, how your concepts or whatever? It's something simple like producer question. Mm-hmm. And he talked for like 5 or 6 minutes. And I don't know what he said.
Probably do you think he even answered the question?
No, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like he did. But I also don't know what he said.
Yeah.
So like I feel like Pharrell would be cool with, you know, being a mentor, but you're gonna have to work to get the knowledge. But to go back to what I was saying earlier with Timbaland, like with the TikTok thing, just based on what I've seen online, obviously people are different online than they are in real life. But like based on that, he seemed like he's very approachable and cool. So like I feel like if you just reached out to him on some whatever, he may be like, yeah, I got, I give you a little listen and see what, oh yeah, right here at 2.3 seconds you put a little in there. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like he would do that.
One thing, listening to Timbaland, like he inspired me to I want to put more, not effort into beats, but little noises. Like not just, you have your regular instrumentation that everybody hears, but he had like a little think here.
Yeah.
And to me, that's taking pride in your work and just, it's not just about making a beat and making money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell he enjoys it.
Yeah.
Have you seen a video of him putting together the beat where he took like a segment from like this speech at like a black rally?
Yep.
You saw that?
Yep.
How? Who thinks of these things?
The man was making a chicken noise.
How does somebody's brain? I can't fathom that.
I was gonna say, with anybody else, drugs would probably be involved. But Timbaland has said it before, and I can't speak for now, but he said, no drugs, no alcohol. He was just like a clean person. So I don't think drugs had anything to do with it. He was just creative, maybe working with. And to me, like FL Studio, I said Fruit Loops earlier. You can pay for this pack, that pack, and it's finite. You only have so many resources, and I understood that. Especially working with the PlayStation 2, those games back in the day didn't have very much disk space. So I was like, man, how can I just make new sounds, new beats to experiment with? And that's how I started messing with pitch and all this other stuff. And I remember somebody that we went to school with. They were more familiar with FL Studio, and I was just starting. And I played the beat for them on FL Studio, and they got in there, and they were like, "This sounds like a what did he say? This sounds like a dial tone, like a phone." And I was like, "Yeah." I took this sound, and I just pitched it all the way down. And they just both looked at each other. It's like, y'all not doing that? Like you just using the sounds that you have. You gotta play with it.
It's another video. You just made me think about it. There's another video on YouTube. I don't know if I showed it to you. I remember watching it, but I don't remember if I told you about it. But it's like they basically took like common songs, some that I haven't heard, and they basically like they'll play the regular song and then they'll play like the sample, and like they'll give like descriptions of how they do, like like they like pitch this up, rerun. I was like,
I love those videos.
I was like, how? Like that's like because obviously I don't do beats. So like when I hear certain songs, I'm like, oh, that'd be a nice sample, but I don't think about like ways to make it.
Yeah.
I just think about like, hey, I was gonna cut this part, put that in there, and then do some stuff. I don't know.
So it's real simple. Like Kanye in his early days, he would just take a big chunk and then pitch it up. Yeah. It was real simple. But Just Blaze, he's known for, or he's celebrated for chopping really itty bitty pieces and like. Pretty much kind of played it on the piano to make a completely different sound. So if you listen to, a Just Blaze beat, I don't know if I said bleat, but if you listen to a Just Blaze beat and somebody says, yeah, he sampled this, I'm like, how do you know that?
I don't know.
Because it's so chopped up, you can't tell. And that, I'm not a big fan of Just Blaze beats, but watching how he does it, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, man, I feel like it all is. Like it's crazy we're talking about this because I was having not conversation. I don't sound crazy. I was thinking thoughts to myself out loud. That I was listening to some song, I can't remember, but I was just listening to music, and I was in that thing. I just remember thinking like, how many more things can you really do, music wise? Like, what more can you do?
Yeah. Yeah, and like every day, I won't say every day, but every now and then you'll have somebody getting sued for such and such. And I'm like, there's like 4 beats in a measure. You can only there's literally like beat. You can only do so many different. Yeah. So if you apply that to this and that, at some point some things are going to get recycled.
Yeah, of course. I don't know, especially with like you were saying was like if somebody has like some software that has like pre-recorded or whatever, like even if you use some of those, they're gonna probably mimic something that somebody else used. But that's just like how many more beats can you?
Yep.
How many more things to a beat can you do?
Yep. And just apply that to everybody. Just like you have, Jack over in Wisconsin, who's just getting started, and just like how there's 1,000 Jacks in Jackson. But yeah, it's like you can't come up everything. What they say, there's nothing new under the sun.
No, that's why. Because we had a conversation about this where it was like basically every idea is just recycled. Mm-hmm. So like even if you have an idea for something right now and you don't do anything with it, somebody else is having that same idea.
Did I tell you about me wanting to put like drawing on a car? Mm-hmm. And I showed you that.
And we had a whole conversation about it.
Yeah, and now somebody made that car that had. Yep. I'm not saying that I would have came up with it,
but you had the idea.
Exactly.
But you didn't act on it.
Yep. That's and
but to your defense, like, not to get too deep, but like I feel like people like me and you, or just certain people in general, like, we can have these great ideas, but like we don't know what to do with them. Like, exactly. I don't know where to start with this.
Because it's not like I went to college and learned how to create what to put on this car. So you'd have to go to somebody, and then how do you know who to talk to?
That's what I'm saying.
How you know they're not going to steal your idea? Like, that's I just didn't do anything.
Yeah, I heard this story. It's kind of related but unrelated. I never forget it. Again, I say this because I don't, I always say this. I don't know if this is true. It's just what I heard. Mm-hmm. The guy who created the GoPro. Mm-hmm. Did I ever tell you that? Mm-hmm. I feel like I told you. I may have. I don't know. According to Veronica, I repeat my stories all the time. Mm-hmm. That's how I know I'm getting old. But apparently, the guy who created GoPro, he graduated high school, wanted to take like a gap year or two before going to college. He just wanted to go out and surf waves. That's what he wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Go surf waves around the country. Parents said, bet, go do it. He got there, had an idea to put a camera on the board so he can film himself surfing. Mm-hmm. Like, oh man, this should be a thing. Came back, told his parents. Parents was like, bet, here's like $2 million, go do it. Created it, and now GoPro is what it is. Mm-hmm. And it's not like he made. It's somewhat revolutionary, but it's just a tiny camera, tiny waterproof camera, pretty much. But it's the fact that like he didn't do anything like real innovative, as well as his thought process to creation was expedited because he had the resources to do it.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like when you have an idea to do the drawing on the cars, like you said, if you had the resources, you don't have to be $2 million, but just the resources of like who to talk to, what programs, what whatever, and then somebody's like, hey man, do this. Who's to say that could have been your invention, James? Mm-hmm.
And my thing, so they have NDAs to kind of protect you. Yeah. But if I go to somebody, hey, you obviously an NDA, you have to give it to them beforehand. Mm-hmm. They sign it. You tell them, I don't like it. What's to stop them from making it anyway? I don't know. They're going to make trillions of dollars, then pay you $1 million, and they still, I don't know.
That's true. And the crazy thing about it is, like, I think about also too with the whole podcast that we have when we talk about movies. Like, how many movie ideas can you really like? I think I feel like I've said this before.
I'll be there right there.
I feel like we've had this conversation about how, like, I told you I saw the clip from one podcast where it was like all movies fall into like certain categories.
I think
there's like 7 categories, and it's like they really do. I mean, obviously they're different, like plot lines or whatever, but they all eventually the basis of it boils down to the 1 and the 7.
Yep, that makes sense to me. Like, if I was to name, obviously you have comedy, horror, action, drama, which is almost like, I guess there are just like pure drama movies, but usually drama has some other genre with it. And then I guess documentaries and all that other stuff, but it's, I don't.
Well, the list I was referring to was more so like like hero's journey or
Gotcha.
I can't remember, but it's stuff like it's like type of plots. It's like this falls into the overcoming obstacles or whatever, love, whatever.
Yeah.
It was like they all, like, no matter what movie it was, a drama, whatever, like they all boil down to one of those 7. I wish I could remember the list of them. I mean, I could probably find them, but it'll probably take a minute.
I feel like I've seen it before, and it makes you wonder, why is it, just 7? Like, are any of the other kinds not successful? Is it just because we can't think outside the box?
I don't know. My question is, who took the time to decide that or figure that out?
That's what happens when you teach everybody Shakespeare. It's like you narrow everybody's mind down.
What does Shakespeare got to do with it?
I don't know. Just like the only thing I got from Shakespeare is like tragedy, comedy. You had your. It's like Shakespeare was where genres came from. That's all I got from Shakespeare.
I did not know that.
And I know it's Shakespeare is deeper than that, sure, whatever. But that's just what I got.
But it's crazy you mentioned that too, because like I feel like nowadays, well, I don't say nowadays, I feel like we are in a time where, speaking of movies, a lot of people, and I'm only saying this because, the whole conversation around like the Captain America movie, where it's kind of like a lot of people nowadays are like, when they watch a movie, there has to be a deeper meaning. There has to be, I gotta understand it.
Yeah.
It was just a good movie. Can it just be a good movie?
I punched a guy. So what?
He flew with wings. He hit a person that turned red. I mean, now granted, I'm not saying there weren't any subliminal or not subliminal, but like underlining topics that but just in general, it's like, why do you always have to find everything? Like, just,
All right. I always got somebody I'm arguing with online. So, me, I don't really like Breaking Bad. And, somebody was like, why you don't like Breaking Bad? Like, it's boring. He was like, oh, I don't have any flashy fight sequences and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, it's not what I said. I don't think it's boring because there's like no action. It's just that to me, and what's the word? I summarized it to Walt is trying to get out of a situation where there's somebody trying to kill him. What's his name? His wife is on the fence about well, at first you don't know, but she's on the fence about do I support my husband if I go turn him in? Eventually she makes a decision. Jesse is an idiot, and he's messing things up usually, but and then you got. Every now and then there is a major event, but the major events are so sporadic that the time in between just doesn't hold my interest. And he was like, oh, well, no flashy fight sequences, and you just don't understand, and you probably... And I was like, so you mean to tell me Breaking Bad is as complex as Black Mirror? Oh, this guy thinks Black Mirror is complex. I was like, so what's complex about Breaking Bad? He ain't said nothing.
I was curious to know.
Like, what am I missing? Like, is Breaking Bad deeper than I thought?
I would maybe my definition of complex is different than his, because I can see how it could be complex, but I'm more so looking at it from the standpoint of like writing when it comes to like these small actions that happen in this season affect a decision made in this season and how it all kind of intertwines and connects that way.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can see, I'm not stupid. Like, I obviously, Walt manipulating things to the point where he gets out of this situation. Like, I can see those things, and I can see how something may affect something in the future. But as far as it having like a deeper meaning, he's not like selling crack or selling meth as a symbolism for him trying to get out of the struggle of his loveless marriage, or
Yeah, I didn't look that deep into it. I didn't look that deep into it. I just enjoyed the ride. I had a great time.
Yeah. And watch somebody in the comics. That's exactly what it was. It was him trying to get out of it.
I know I can't put you in that conversation, but in my mind, I would say Breaking Bad is a better show than Game of Thrones.
Ooh, actually.
But
okay, go ahead.
The reason I say that is because I enjoyed the ending of Breaking Bad better than I enjoyed the ending of Game of Thrones.
So I'm with you on the ending thing, but I also feel like, just not some people had a problem with more than one season of Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, but I only had a problem with the last season, and for me, that last season doesn't make the rest of the show bad. But goodness, Game of Thrones, like, while it wasn't symbolism, like I was just saying, it did have a lot of, not espionage, like it was a lot of conniving, and so in that aspect, I feel like Game of Thrones was deeper, but not exceptionally deeper than Breaking Bad.
She's talking as far as the I was about to say the strategic like play of like people that are moving in these scenarios and, like you said, manipulating. Yeah, I would say Game of Thrones definitely had that more than Breaking Bad did. Like I said, it's really, for me, it just really boils down to, I enjoyed Game of Thrones. For me, part of the season before the last season, I kind of checked out.
Yeah.
And then last season was just okay.
Yeah.
But for me, Breaking Bad, even though the last season wasn't as great as some of the other ones, I still enjoyed it. Like, it still was a good ending to me. I was like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones was just like, no, come on, man, bro.
Nobody was okay with it.
For real? This is how we're doing it?
Yeah.
You build the White Walkers up this entire time. I'm sorry.
Yep,
you build them up this entire time, and they can take it out with a little girl stabbing them in the stomach in the night that we can't see. That's been. I can't move past that, James.
Tell me how you really feel. That's yeah.
The whole entire show, they've been saying, winter is coming. They build these guys up. The White Walkers done captured a dragon. They done took down the wall. They die. They raise them back up. They do all this, and here comes the leader. Yeah, I'm a White Walker. Stab. That's the end of it.
The road trip is not about the destination. It's about the journey.
No, it's not. If the journey is just you in a car looking out a window for 8 hours, and you finally get to where you're going, and it's a hole in the wall that you look through, was that a great journey?
Yeah. Well, you said just no.
No.
But Game of Thrones wasn't just looking at just nothing.
But when it comes to the White Walkers, that's what it was. Like, it was, because it was always like, hey, what's that over there? It keeps getting closer. Hey, what's that over there? And then they finally get there, and it's just like,
that's true.
That's it.
There's a splinter.
It's just a statue that's got old. Come on, man. Come on, James. But I digress. We're not gonna talk about Game of Thrones. I digress. I tried to start back watching it the first season.
I hear you. I actually tried to, and I don't know if I just shows. It's just shows for me.
Well, here's my thing. Like, I know for you, because you don't watch shows, but for me, I try to go back and watch Game of Thrones, and it's not just Game of Thrones. It's a lot of shows that I love that I've watched to completion, and I try to go back and watch. I feel like in my mind, I hold this show like, man, this show was such a great show.
Yep.
But then when I go back and I start watching it over again, I'll be like, am I only thinking about the most recent seasons? Because it's like, I forgot this happened.
I will say
these are just, it's hard to get through.
Season 1 did seem to be more concise. It's like Harry Potter. Season 1 and episode.
I can't watch the Sorcerer's Stone.
No, I agree.
I can't.
Those child actors.
It's not even for me, it's not even the child actors. It's just the movie in general. Because it's just such a young Harry, and I want Deathly Hallows Harry.
Yeah.
I want Order of the Phoenix. I want Prison Azkaban Harry.
I want the stakes.
Yeah, I don't care about this guy. I want to look in the mirror and see my parents. I don't care about him.
Well, take the whole out of him. Not so happy-go-lucky. You about to die, man.
Ooh, it's the Nimbus 2000. I don't care. I don't care about that Harry. Mr. I don't know, man.
But yeah, season 1 of Game of Thrones, to me, when I first watched it, I felt like it was very self-contained, almost as if, like, if we don't make any more seasons, this is actually just good on its own. And
I can see that.
And then after that, like, everything else seemed to expand more.
I mean, okay, I feel like I have to say this for the people who are watching. Not, for the record, I'm not saying that because I couldn't get through the first season, it made the show not good. Mm-hmm. I'm just simply saying it was. I feel like it's a lot of like, and that's why I said it's with any show. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's like the recency bias of it. It's like, oh, this is not. Because I guess because like when you first start watching something, you don't really fall in love with it until like after some time. Yep. So it's kind of like, this is not the part where I fell in love with it yet. So it's kind of like, I got to get through this again. You know, like I enjoyed it. I enjoy it. It's okay. It's cool. But like, it's like, I already know what happened. So I want to fast forward to the part like that I love. Like, let's get to that part. Mm-hmm. But we got to do the build up again. And it's okay. I don't know, James. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Are you excited about the Harry Potter show?
Kind of, sort of. I am. I would much rather have another movie, mm-hmm. but at the same time, shows also give you that bonus of like being able to talk about a vast amount of stuff because you have episodes and you can focus on certain things. Yep. But I can't speak for the Harry Potter people because like I'm pretty sure they're probably not as psyched, but because they know the lore and what happens to, I don't know any of that. So I don't know what the show's going. I don't know if it's starting back from the beginning or if it's like following after. I don't know.
I was going to say, kind of in line with what you were saying about, going back and watching the first season. Do you think knowing pretty much how Harry Potter starts and ends, almost the whole story, obviously not the stuff that, but the main stuff, do you think that's going to take away from the show?
Not really, because, well, I'll say it this way. I don't think it will if the show starts off and I can see that it's going to be different somehow. Mm-hmm. But if it starts off with the same beats, mm-hmm. well, okay, yeah, it's going to take away.
I know they're gonna have to, get on. They're gonna have the Dursleys hit him with his, mm-hmm. and then he's gonna get on a train. He's got to meet Ron, and So I know they're gonna hit those points.
Well, yeah, I feel like those certain things have to happen though.
Yeah, but not necessarily like does it all happen in the first episode, or will the first episode just be him having a bad time at the Dursleys? Like that's interesting.
No, I get that. But yeah, like I said, those. I mean, obviously. I feel like those things have to happen. But I get to your point, like, is the first, let's say, 2 episodes going to be considered to be like, okay, these 2 episodes or 3 episodes, I don't know how many they're going to do in a season, but let's say the first 3 episodes are the first movie, mm-hmm. which is, it's just the same, but they just stretched out the first. Like, if it's that, then, but if it's like, okay, we hit the beats of going to Hogwarts, his family is trash, blase, but then like you get some extra stuff to it. It's like, okay.
From what I understood, every season is going to be like a book. So the first season is going to be the Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh, so there's more seasons.
That's what I thought.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just one season.
I could be wrong, but that's no. I excuse me. I'm not saying like you're wrong.
No, I get you.
But especially with them. And I guess they got to take their time with the cast anyway, but they're making such a big deal, like, oh, this person was cast as Ron. Yeah. It's almost like, hey, you're going to spend a lot of time with this person as this character. So I feel like they're probably going to make 7, maybe 8 seasons. I don't know if they're going to divide, the Deathly Hallows.
I feel like now that you say that, I feel like I've heard something like that or something similar to where it's like each season is going to be kind of like a book or whatever. I'll give you a good example of what I'm talking about. It's not a good example as far as like it being a good show. Just want to put that out there. Okay. So, Cowboy Bebop anime. Mm-hmm. You had 1 season of Cowboy Bebop, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody wildly loved by mm-hmm. people. I loved it. Great show. Mm-hmm. So then they made a live action. Yep. So it was like, all right, cool. It's gonna be live action. We already kind of know what happens, but let's see what they do. For the most part, it's kind of like the same beats. I mean, obviously it's different, but the biggest difference that the live action gave me, and this is what I'm talking about with the Harry Potter, is while it was kind of the same kind of stuff as the anime, the best it could, the anime, you had the main character, I'm drawing a blank on their names for some reason.
Definitely don't ask me.
But it's like the main guy, it starts with an S. It's like Scott or something like that. I don't know. Okay. But him and the villain, mm-hmm. they were like at odds the whole season, right? Okay. But in the anime show, they basically tell you like how they had this whole long history and this, like they were friends and all this kind of stuff, but they never really touch on it. They just kind of talk about it.
Okay.
In the live action, there's a whole episode where it shows them like starting off together as friends and how they basically had their falling out and how they got to be at odds. Like it expanded on that. The whole, even though the live action wasn't that great compared to the anime, that episode alone was a big bonus for me because like we didn't get this in anime, so I'm just like, oh,
added to it.
Yeah, it added something to it. I was like, this was like, why did they have this in anime?
I think his name is Spike.
Yeah. Spike and the other guy.
And I'm sure it was a girl, right? Was there a girl at some point? And there's got to be a girl at some point.
Are you talking about the reason why, or just in the show?
In the show, like, did they
it was three. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say for their team.
It was a girl.
All right.
It was like Spike, girl. It was really two girls. So there's Spike. There's the older guy. There's this young girl, and there's like a little small girl, and there's like a little small terrier dog. So it's four of them all together.
Good.
Yeah. Which sucks because you had the live action and they didn't have the little girl. They didn't have the little girl in the live action, but they tease her at the end of it. And like, that'll never happen. So
the cartoon, the anime, it was just one season.
Mm-hmm.
The live action was just one season.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't cover the whole show, the anime.
They did, but the thing about Cowboy Bebop is it's one season, but there's a lot of episodes that just are kind of like, they're not necessarily filler, but like they don't really matter to like the main story.
Yep.
So like it wasn't like if whatever they left out, it was like they had to do it, beat for beat, because it was a lot of just random stuff in it. But there was like a through line of this rivalry between Spike and the other guy. And that was kind of like the main premise of it all.
Okay. Do you want to do Love Hurts as the first movie or something that we kind of do a reaction to?
This one with old buddy from Goonies?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that... Like, reaction how?
After I order a new capture card, but we'd have to sit in front of the or TV or something in front of the computer actually, and watch it with the camera watching us.
Is it out? Where you can watch it at home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's more so what I was trying to figure out. Like, I was like, what, we gonna take the camera in the theater? Like, no. Hey guys, we at the Cinemark. I didn't know.
You can't see us, but we're here.
But you can hear us.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh, that was great.
Oh, popcorn flew everywhere. That's your subtitle.
I still can't get over. I don't know if I sent you that video. I just thought about it. You just made me think about it. The video of the guy was like when blind people read scary books of Braille. I don't know why this is so hilarious to me, but it is. It gives me every time. I just came across it the other day.
Also, I don't know if you told V, but I guess, hey, I did remember a weird or random comment somebody gave me. Somebody said that it came out of nowhere. No, but anyway, somebody said I had nice feet for a man.
I think I told her that.
Yeah, that's.
But I also told her how you want to get a pedicure.
Yep, I mean, y'all together, y'all been together for a while, so I don't necessarily.
I didn't go into the details of what you told me. I just gave her the vague. James was talking about getting a pedicure because I was more so just talking about just like could be because she does it. So I was just like, oh yeah, James told me he want to get a pedicure. So did I go into like, well, he was saying it because of I ain't doing all that.
I almost feel like it's worse that she just thinks that I want to get a pedicure, but my feet.
Why?
Because it's like
Nah.
No.
I get pedicures from her. So
okay, all right.
They are fun.
I just want to get.
Maybe I shouldn't say fun. I enjoy them.
I work on my feet, and I have been working on my feet, and I don't take this. That compliment was years ago, back in high school, probably even I don't know. It was back a long time ago. So I need to get my feet back in shape, which is why I want a pedicure.
Did you get your feedback and shit?
Yeah, I'm trying not to give too many details, but at the same time, I don't want them to be like, I just go and get my feet done,
I feel you.
Yeah.
Completely random side note.
Okay.
I feel like I've told you I've been watching a show called Big City Greens.
Mm-hmm.
This is this little cartoon show on Disney Plus. I don't know how I've seen clips of it before, but I don't know how I started watching it. But I'm on like season 3. It's only 4 seasons.
Yeah.
But it's a hilarious show. But there's this one episode, just made me think, when you said get your feet back in shape, there's this one episode where the main character, his name is Cricket, and so he wants to learn how to do like basically bull riding, but it's like sheep riding, what they do.
Okay.
So he's like, I want to do that, and it's like, well, you gotta train. It takes years to do it. And he's like, but I want to do it now. And so like his best friend Remy was just like, well, most times in the show, what they do is they do like a montage. And by the end of the montage, they do it. And so it's like, let's do a montage. And so they try to do it. And then he goes and tries to ride the sheep, and he gets thrown into the wall. And it's like, he's like, what happened? He's like, we only did it for like a few minutes. You didn't do. He's like, all right, so let's try it. So they do the montage, but then he gets stuck into a montage loop of like different montages. And so like, it's like, all right, it's like every montage is the end with a slow high five between friends. So when they do the high five, it starts the montage over again, and they can start going to different montages. Come to find out he had passed out because he hit the wall.
I was gonna say that almost sounds familiar, but no, I haven't seen that.
I have to show you. It's a quick. I don't know. Well, you don't have to watch it, but it's a quick episode if you want to see it. It's funny, man. This show is hilarious, man. I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna leave it alone.
Okay. Don't worry.
I was just thinking, like, what, like, do they make stuff only for kids, or is it just adult jokes? Because I feel like if I had a kid and me and my kid were watching this show, I feel like I would probably be laughing the same, if not harder, than my kid.
And one thing I like, and that's probably why they do it, is when you are watching something that is for a kid, and then you laugh because the joke is for you, and then they're probably just sitting there like, why is that funny?
Yeah. They had one joke when they went to this restaurant, and it was a diner, and the lady was like, the dad's name is Bill, and it's like, hey Bill, he's like, she's getting ready to take his order. She's like, hey, you want your usual? And he's like, no, actually, because he wanted to try something different. So they brought him his usual. It was like, here's your usual, like, corned beef, whatever. And she gave it to him. And his son was like, I want a usual. And he was just like, no. He's like, I can't tell her that I don't like it, but they just keep bringing it. And now I'm stuck in a loop, and I can't get out of it. This is whole face. I can't. They just keep bringing it, and I can't stop.
How many times do you go or do something and be like, yeah, I remember you like such and such, and you be like,
You can't.
I've never seen you before. This is my first time. What are you talking about?
I don't know, James. This is a great show, man. Anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, I mean, there are, but I do want to make reviews about them. So, Captain America, I don't know if we talked about that on the podcast.
We haven't. I mean, we can give out like quick thoughts. Because like I said, I know you said you want to do a review, so.
I definitely want to do a review of that, Companion and Hard Eyes. And I have a really good...
Hard Eyes one?
Yeah.
Just kind of not a spoiler, but like, it's a tease for the review.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, nay?
Oh, I liked all 3 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know how you feel about Captain America. I know you said Companion was good, but we hadn't talked about Hard Eyes, so I didn't know where that one fell.
Hard Eyes. I think you did say that you saw the movie Thanksgiving, right?
What movie?
The movie Thanksgiving. It's like a horror killer movie.
Oh, the actual movie.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, if anybody likes, there's a spoiler. If you like the movie Thanksgiving, then you'll like Hard Eyes.
Do they have a Thanksgiving 2 coming out?
Possibly.
I feel like I've seen the trailer for it. Mm-hmm. Or I've heard about it at least. I might have just heard about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Captain America, I really enjoyed it. By this time you probably already made up your mind about if you're going to see it, if you're not, why you're going to see it, why you're not. I just want to say that if you just let the politics go and just go watch the movie, it is actually pretty good. Obviously it's not perfect, but it's not as bad as people are making it seem. And then, if I say something's not as bad, then you're probably thinking that it is bad. It's not bad. It's a good movie, but people, because they already had these notions about they're not going to like the movie, they saw more of the bad in the movie. It's not as bad as you think it's going to be.
Yeah, I didn't think the movie was trash. I mean, obviously, it's not. I'm not putting it in my top 5 Marvel movies.
Right.
After watching it, but I had a great time with it. I mean, because we went to watch it together, there was a few times that a couple of lines hit me, and I was like, And I don't know if that was because a black man or what, but they just hit me a certain type of way. But it's definitely not as bad as most people are saying it is.
Yeah.
But I had a good time. Like I said, I'm not, like you said, it's not perfect. I'm not going to go ahead and it's the greatest Marvel,
right.
But, I had a great time.
I think you like Ant-Man more than I do, but I put
The first one?
Well, I don't know which one. I know you like Ant-Man or both of them more than I do. But I would put this movie over all 3 of the Ant-Mans and the first 2 Spider-Man. So just give you an idea of where I would put it.
I don't know where I would put it yet. I don't know. It's definitely above, like, out the gate, it's definitely above, like, Eternals and above, I would put it above Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
There are aspects of Multiverse of Madness that I liked.
Right.
But as far as, like, looking at the film as a whole, I would say I like Captain America better.
Yeah.
I had to sit with that for a second.
There's
just off the top, those are 2 I can say not that I didn't like those, but that I put it over.
There's so many, MCU movies out right now that it's hard to kind of like just automatic. You have to look at a list that you've had and then, so yeah, but that's our initial, I guess, not rankings, but how we feel about the movie.
Yeah. Cool.
Also, Companion is out for, that you can stream it, so we could watch that too.
Question about Companion. Just without, like, spoiling anything. Because I saw the trailer. I've seen the trailer a couple of times. One with you, one with V, and just on my own.
Yes.
Without spoiling anything, what exactly if you had to tell somebody, what exactly is the movie about? I'm asking for a specific reason.
I like what I was about to say was going to give it away because, I mean, obviously, if you see the trailer, you can tell that it's implied that she's not human.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
So I'm just going to say she's not human. We'll just leave it at that.
Because somebody said that, and I was like, because my first reaction was like, nah, she's human. But then but that was only watching the trailer once, and then I watched it a couple more times. I was like, well, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, there was a movie that came out before called Afraid, and, they highlighted the AI in there, and it was about, I want to say it was Scarlett Johansson, but, they are really leaning into AI becoming,
Yeah, me and V watched this movie called Subservience.
Yep, with Megan Fox.
Yeah. There's some pretty nice little scenes in there. That's all I'm going to say.
I honestly don't remember it that much. I know I didn't like it, but
I liked it, but I liked it for one main reason. And I don't know if you ever watched anybody play or ever played the game Detroit Become Human.
I think I watched a little bit when it first came out, but I never watched the whole thing.
That's basically Subservient. The movie is, I mean, obviously it's different, but the concept is the same as Detroit Become Human. Yeah. Because in the game, you got this father who goes. I think he starts off the game. It's different. It's different POVs, but like one POV is his dad goes out to get like this robot to replace like the mom or whatever, and so he has like a little girl or whatever. And obviously it's not the same as in the movie, because in the movie they end up doing some stuff. It's different than that, but the concept is just the same. Yep. I was like, this is Detroit Become Human. But Megan Fox, man, she is she's a looker. That's all I'm gonna say.
She definitely looks better than she did, because I know when she first started getting like all, but I was like, but in the movie she actually doesn't look as bad as I remember. So I don't know if she got anything undone. I don't know.
I've never thought she was ugly.
I don't. You need to see some of them pictures of after the before. I know that's weird. Like in the middle. Like I guess right after she got the surgeries.
Well, I mean, I'm also basing on all the times that I've seen her. Like I don't really see a lot of her outside of like movies and stuff. So like anytime I've seen her pop up in something, like Jennifer's Body, get it. Subservience, get it. Transformers, get it.
There was something else.
She's in some other stuff, but all of them, get it.
You were talking about but it was gonna make me pivot to something else, but I can't remember. But it's alright.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that.
Alright, here's the part that I've been dreading. So I did change my username. And alright.
Yeah. We talked about me and V talked about this.
I'm going to the gym. You don't have to say anything. I'm going at some
Well,
point.
it's not the name per se. I only know you changed it because when she was looking you up to say happy birthday, she was like, "Oh, he changed his name." I was like, "I didn't know." I was like, "I guess so." That's the only reason I know.
Thank y'all for watching. We have Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
I think that's it.
Big and short. You can find me on Instagram at SlimJimothy _ SLIM. I did try not to put an underscore in there. I
was just about to say, you can't get away from the underscore.
I tried. I was sitting there for at least 5 to 7 minutes. I was like, come on, give me something. So SLIMJIMOTHY _.
Quick question before we go. Producer wise, what's your producer tag? What would it be?
Nope. Well, so I don't like producer tags. Like I remember when I was buying beats from other people and they had producer tags, I was like, how much I got to pay you to check this out? Because I don't want it. Please don't. I'm not doing producer tags.
Would you have a producer name?
Well, I mean, I just I can't say it because I need to get it copyrighted.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, you can find me on Instagram at DA_Bear BEAR29. Yeah, man. This has been fun. $2,500 for James's beats. Yeah.
Oh, yep. And you, since you said you were gonna come holler at me, it's gonna be 1,000. I was gonna go up.
I was gonna say 1,500.
I was gonna go up. I was like, for the fans, for the band. I don't know.
If you write a message in his DM with the word, what would be a word?
Shiggies, because back in the day, that lets me know that you've been here since day one.
You get a beat for the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
We're not going that low.
$450.
Oh, you should have said $350. That's South Park.
Man. I feel like I can't say it now.
I know, it's fine. It's
$450. $600. The price is flexible.
Thank you. Yes. Thank y'all for watching.